Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the verse number 26 of chapter number 4 of Bhagwat Gita as it is. But before we start today's verse, let us do a quick revision of the previous verse. In the previous verse, we learnt about Dravya Yagya and Gyan Yagya. Dravya Yagya is performed by the people who want to enjoy this material world, and they perform sacrifices as prescribed in the Vedas. These people are called Sakam Karmis because they want to enjoy the fruits of their actions, and for it they offer the material things to the demigods in the fire sacrifice, and in return they get all the things of sense enjoyment like good house, good living style, beautiful life partner, and children. And the Gyan Yagya is performed by the Nirakarvadis, who are not interested in any kind of sense enjoyment, as they have the knowledge that everything in this material world is temporary. These people are called Nirakarvadis because they believe that everything which has a form in this material life in due course of time gets destroyed, and God can never be destroyed. So God cannot have a sakar roop or form. So according to these Nirakarvadis, God is formless in the form of Brahma Jyoti. Since they believe that God is formless and impersonal, so they are called impersonalists or Nirakarvadi. Now, the third category is of a Krishna conscious devotee who has the complete knowledge that he is the eternal servant of Krishna, and Krishna is the supreme Lord, and that everything belongs to Krishna, and Krishna is all pervading in the form of his external energy, that is earth, fire, sky, water, and air. And Krishna resides in every living being in the form of Paramatma. And at the same time, Krishna eternally resides in Golok Vrindavan Dham. Such a Krishna conscious person sees Krishna everywhere and does everything for the happiness of Krishna. And his consciousness is always fixed in Krishna. In easy words, we can say that if the aim of a person is to make Krishna happy by all his activities, then he is a Krishna conscious person. And if the aim is to enjoy the material world, whose creator, maintainer, and destroyer is Krishna, then such a person is a material conscious person. Now let us start today's verse, that is verse number 26. In today's verse, we will get to know about the fire sacrifice done by the brahmacharis and grihasthas. It's a very important verse, so I request everyone to watch the video till the end. Now let us begin the verse by reciting the verse number 26 of chapter number 4. Shrota dinin indriyanye संयमाग्नेषु जुहुवति शब्दादीन् विषया अन्ये इन्द्रियाग्नेषु जुहुवति श्रोतादीनीन् इन्द्रियाण्ये संयमाग्नेषु जुहुवति शब्दादीन् विषया अन्ये Indriyagneshu juhuvati. Shrotagdini, hearing process. Indriyani, senses. Anye, others. Sanyam, of restraint. Agnishu, in the fire. Juhuvati, offers. Shabdadeen, sound, vibrations, etc. Vishayan, objects of sense gratification. Anye, others. Indriya, of sense organs. Agnishu, in the fire. Juhvati, sacrifice. Krishna is telling Arjun, Shrotadini indriyan anye sanyabhagneshu juhvati. That some people who sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of the controlled mind. And in the second line, Krishna says, Shabda dinin vishaya anye indriyagneshu juhvati. And there are some other people who sacrifice the objects of the senses, such as sound, in the fire of sacrifice. Now, this is a very, very important verse, and let us understand this verse very nicely by reading the purport of Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada, in his purport, he says that the four divisions of the human life, that is, the brahmachari, the grihastha, the vanaprastha, and the sannyasi, are all meant to help men become perfect yogis or transcendentals. Now we must remember that in the previous verses we have properly understood who is a perfect yogi. Perfect yogi is a Krishna conscious person who sees Krishna everywhere as all pervading. And he knows that Krishna is residing in each and every living being's heart as Paramatma. And Krishna is residing eternally in Golok Vrindavan Dham. Such a person is a Krishna conscious person. He knows his pure self, that he is an eternal servant of Krishna, and he wishes only to make Krishna happy by all his endeavors. Such a person is a perfect yogi. So, the brahmacharis, the grihas, vanaprasth, and sannyasi, the four divisions of human life, is actually to help the people to become perfect yogis. Further, Srila Prabhupada says that since human life is not meant for our enjoying sense gratifications like the animals, the four orders of the human life are so arranged that one may become perfect in spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada is very clearly saying that human life is not meant to enjoy the senses like the animals do. It is meant for becoming a perfect yogi, a perfect person in spiritual life. Further, Prabhupada says that the brahmacharis or students under the care of a bona fide spiritual master. Bona fide spiritual master means a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession order. He controls the minds of the disciples by abstaining from sense gratification. Means when the students are under the control, under the care of a bona fide spiritual master, their mind is controlled from all kinds of sense gratification. They are referred here as sacrificing the hearing process and the senses in the fire of the control mind. The brahmacharis, they sacrifice the hearing process because hearing process is a very powerful tool by which we get all the inputs from the outside world. And these brahmacharis, they sacrifice their hearing process and the senses in the fire of the controlled mind because they completely surrender to their spiritual master. Hence, their mind is under proper care, under the control of the spiritual master. So, their senses and hearing process both are sacrificed in the fire of controlled mind. Then further Prabhupada says that a brahmachari hears only words concerning Krishna consciousness because hearing is the basic principle for understanding. Everything we learn by hearing. So the brahmacharis, they listen to everything which has connection with Krishna, and therefore The pure brahmachari engages fully in Harinam Anukirtanam, which is chanting and hearing the glories of Krishna. He restrains himself from the vibrations of material sounds. Material sounds means the sounds which has nothing to do with Krishna. That is material sound for our own sense gratification. So the brahmacharis, they stop themselves from hearing any sound which does not have connection with Krishna, and his hearing is engaged in the transcendental sound vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now we have clearly understood about the brahmacharya ashram. The brahmacharis or the students surrender their mind to their spiritual master or guru, and their senses are only engaged in listening about Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan and the knowledge of the scriptures. And the main aim of the scriptures is to give us Krishna Bhakti. This way, the brahmacharis sacrifice their senses only for serving Krishna, and they never engage their senses in the enjoyment of material life. The brahmacharis are completely pure because they live under the direction of their spiritual master and do not work as per the direction of their own mind. The brahmacharis only hear the glories of Lord Krishna's name and study about the material world from their guru, who is an expert to connect everything with the potencies of Krishna. Once a disciple of Srila Prabhupada was traveling with Srila Prabhupada in an aircraft. The disciple was looking at an air hostess, and Srila Prabhupada saw him looking at the air hostess. The disciple became embarrassed that Srila Prabhupada noticed him looking at the air hostess. Srila Prabhupada immediately said, "She is so beautiful." Just imagine that if she is so beautiful, how beautiful is her creator, Krishna. This is the work of an expert guru who connects everything in this material world with Krishna, and then everything becomes spiritual. Now we have understood the fire sacrifice offered by the brahmacharis. They offer their hearing to the controlled mind, and the mind is in the control of the guru. Sotadini indriyanye sanyamagnishu juhvati. It means that the people who sacrifice their hearing process and the senses in the fire of the control mind are called brahmacharis. Now, in the second line of this verse, we come to know about the sacrifice which is done by the grihasthas. Shabdadin Vishaya Anye Indriyagnishu Juhvati. It means that the people who sacrifice the objects of senses, such as sound, in the fire of sacrifice are the grihasthas. Sound is the most powerful sense object, and when a person sacrifices sound, it means that he doesn't use his ears to listen to anything which is not in connection with Krishna, or in other words, we can say that he only listens to Ramayana, Bhagwat Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is how he restricts his senses of hearing, because everything begins from hearing. We become what we hear. Srila Prabhupada says that the pure brahmacharis, they engage themselves fully in Harinam Sankirtan, that is the chanting and hearing the glories of Krishna. Similarly, the householders who have some license for sense gratification, they perform such acts with great restraint. Here it's very important for us to know that the householders, they have the license for sense gratification. They perform such acts with great control and restraint. Sex life, intoxication, and meat eating are general tendencies of human society. But A regulated householder does not indulge in unrestricted sex life and in other sense gratifications. Srila Prabhupada says that the main purpose of human life is God realization and self realization. And to fulfill this aim, the institution of marriage is there to restrict all types of sensual pleasures in the Grihastha ashram. Srila Prabhupada says that the restricted and unattached sex life is also a kind of yajna because the restricted householder sacrifices his general tendency towards the sense gratifications for higher transcendental life. Here it's important for us to know that a grihastha or a householder has a license to do his sense gratification, but in a restricted manner, because by restricted sense gratification, he makes himself eligible for the higher goal of life, which is God realization and self realization. Grihasthas have the permission for sensual activity only to beget Krishna conscious children. And this type of restriction helps the householder to achieve the main purpose of human life. And the people who do not observe restrictions and give in to all kinds of sensual pleasures, such as unrestricted sex life, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, their life is no better than animal life because animals eat what they want, they sleep where they want to, they give birth to children by unrestricted sex life. And human life is certainly not meant to be lived like animals, which means only eating, sleeping, producing children, and protecting one's own self from all kinds of dangers. Srila Prabhupada says that in animal society there is no varnashram. So if they don't follow, then there is no problem. But after getting a human birth, if we don't follow the varnashram, then we are literally committing suicide. Because if one doesn't follow the varnashram as stated in the Vedas, then he is actually preparing himself to go down in the lower species. That is, he is sure to become a dog or a hog or a pigeon. And it is such a big loss for anyone after getting a human form of body. If one doesn't restrict senses, then he is sure to have a downfall in the next life. Srila Prabhupada gives us a beautiful solution to all the grihasthas by which the senses will not be starved, yet never fall a prey to anything which is sinful. Srila Prabhupada says that the grihasthas will definitely need to cook to satisfy their hunger. So they can cook for Krishna, offer bhog, and then they can satisfy their taste buds by having the tasty Krishna prasadam. Then the grihasthas love to travel. For this, they can go to many temples and Lord's Dham like Vrindavan, Mathura, Ayodhya, Dwarka Dham, Jagannath Puri. Then grihasthas love to dress. For this, they can dress very nicely for the festivals of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says that the grihasthas definitely need to cook to satisfy their hunger. So they can cook very nice bhog for Krishna, offer it to Krishna, and then satisfy their taste buds by having the Krishna prasadam. Then the grihasthas, they love to travel also. So they can go with their families to Lord's Dham like Vrindavan, Mathura, Ayodhya, Dwarika Puri, Jagannath Puri. So many dhams are there. Then grihasthas, they love to dress up also. They can dress very nicely for festivals like Janmashtami, Radha Ashtami, Ram Navami, Dashera, Diwali, Govardhan Puja, Holi. So many festivals are there, so many occasions are there where the devotees can dress up very beautifully. Then, to satisfy the listening urge, the Grihasthas can listen to the melodious chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They can listen to Bhagavad Gita, which is the beautiful conversation between Krishna and Arjun. Then the pastimes of Krishna in Bhagavatam, and then the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra in Ramayana. And lastly, the urge of speaking can be satisfied by speaking about the glories of Krishna and Ram and their devotees. This way, all the senses will be utilized in a devotional manner, which helps the householder to uplift themselves from the material platform to the spiritual platform. Srila Prabhupada says that artificially we can never control our senses. We have to give food to our senses, and in our scriptures it is properly planned everything for all the four ashrams. And when we follow it, then truly we become civilized. Otherwise, we are uncivilized with unrestricted habit of sense gratification. I am very sure that each one of us have properly understood the type of yajna which is done by the brahmacharis and the grihasthas. For this, we need a bona fide spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada, who connects everything with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says that if a person wishes to enjoy the material world, then he is a materially conscious person. And if a person wishes to make Krishna happy and does everything for the pleasure of Krishna, keeping Krishna as the center of his life, then he is truly a Krishna conscious person. We need Krishna conscious people to make our society safe for everyone, which is appropriate for God realization and self realization. I thank each one of you for listening Bhagavad Gita shloks very attentively. And I thank Srila Prabhupada and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, for explaining to us the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in such simple manner. Please do write your comments and share the Bhagavad Gita shloks with others. We will meet next week with a new shlok. Till then, keep chanting Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.